The city was waking up slowly, its streets foggy and cold. People were rushing to work wrapped in coats and scarves, carrying briefcases and coffee cups. Cars honked, buses rattled down the streets, and the smell of fresh bread and hot coffee floated from the small cafes. But among all the noise and movement, one scene stood out to someone walking through the park. A girl, not more than 10, struggled through the early morning chill. Her clothes were old, patched and thin, not enough to keep the cold from biting her skin. Her hair, tangled and messy, fell across her face, but her eyes, dark and wide, held a fierce determination. She was carrying a small boy, probably her younger brother, who was shivering and coughing. He leaned heavily against her chest, and she held him close, wrapping her thin jacket around him the best she could. She stumbled over the uneven ground, yet refused to let go. Every step was a struggle, but she kept moving forward as if nothing else in the world mattered except keeping him safe. A man, dressed in a heavy coat and scarf, noticed them from the other side of the path. He was not used to seeing scenes like this. He was a millionaire, used to boardrooms, contracts, and luxury cars. Life for him had always been orderly and predictable. But something about this girl stopped him in his tracks. There was a raw courage in her, something he could not ignore. He slowed his pace, watching silently as she carefully placed the boy on a park bench, his little body shaking with cold. She dug into her small backpack and pulled out a crumpled piece of bread, breaking it into tiny pieces and feeding him slowly. She whispered to him, words too soft for anyone else to hear, telling him it would be okay, that she would take care of him. The man felt a lump in his throat. He had never seen such devotion, such love from someone so young, and it shook something inside him. He thought about how often he had passed by homeless children without a second glance. Today was different. He found himself drawn to them, wanting to step forward but unsure how. He did not want to scare the girl or make her distrust him, as so many adults had in the past. Instead, he stayed back, observing the little scene unfolding in the cold morning. The boy coughed again, a wet, painful sound, and the girl gently rubbed his back and muttered, "It's okay, Max. I'm right here. Don't worry." The tenderness in her voice contrasted sharply with the harsh city sounds around them. She tried to wrap the blanket tighter around the boy, but it was too thin, too small to cover both of them. She adjusted it again and again, her small hands shaking from the cold. The man could see her lips turning blue, but she did not stop. Her focus was entirely on her brother. Every now and then she glanced around, alert for any danger, any adult who might try to take them away. Her eyes flickered with fear, but she pushed it down, refusing to let it slow her down. There was no one else to protect them, and she knew it. He remembered the stories he had heard as a child about children surviving on the streets, doing anything they could to stay together and alive. But seeing it firsthand, feeling the intensity of it in real life, was different. It was heart-wrenching and inspiring all at once. He felt compelled to do something, but he hesitated. She might think he was dangerous, like the social workers and strangers who had tried to take her away before. She had learned to survive by not trusting anyone. The man realized that earning her trust would be the hardest part, but he was willing to try. The girl, whose name was Lily, looked around again, her eyes scanning for any sign of trouble. Max coughed violently, and she quickly adjusted him on her lap, holding his small body close. She whispered, "We'll be okay, Max. I promise." Her words were soft, yet full of conviction. She had been through so much already, more than many adults ever experience, and still she refused to give up. Her love for her brother was stronger than the hunger, stronger than the cold, stronger than the fear that gripped them every day. The man took a cautious step closer, keeping his voice gentle. "Hello," he said softly, not wanting to startle her. Lily froze, gripping Max tighter. She looked up at him with wide eyes, suspicion written all over her face. I'm not going to hurt you," he added quickly, kneeling slightly to appear less threatening. "I just want to help. Can I bring you somewhere warm?" Lily hesitated. She had been betrayed by adults before. Social workers, police, even neighbors had tried to separate her from Max, claiming it was for his own good. But each time she had fought back, finding ways to stay together. Trusting someone new was nearly impossible. But the warmth in his eyes, the calm in his voice, and the gentle tone made her pause. She studied him for a long moment, her small mind racing through the possibilities. Finally, after a deep breath, she nodded slightly, signaling that she would follow, but only if he respected their pace. The man smiled gently and motioned for her to lead the way. Lily carefully lifted Max again, wrapping the thin blanket around both of them, and started walking. The man stayed behind them, giving them space but keeping a close watch. He noticed how she navigated the streets, avoiding puddles, sidestepping rough patches of pavement, and keeping an alert eye on every passerby. Her resilience was remarkable. He had never met anyone so young with such careful thought and courage. They walked together through the city streets, past crowded markets, honking cars, and busy sidewalks. People moved around them, unaware of the fragile pair navigating the morning chaos. Lily clutched Max tightly, whispering reassuring words every few steps. She barely looked at the man, but she did not pull away from his side either. It was a small, cautious acceptance, a beginning of trust. Finally, they reached the man's car. He opened the door, gesturing for them to get in. Lily hesitated again, glancing at Max, who looked pale and exhausted. She took a deep breath and helped him into the seat. The man buckled him safely, then helped Lily in, keeping his movements careful and gentle. The city continued to rush past, but inside the car, a quiet began to settle. Lily felt a strange sense of relief and fear at the same time. This was unfamiliar territory, and yet, for the first time in months, she felt a tiny spark of hope. The man drove through the city calmly, not speaking much, giving them space to adjust. He was thinking about how differently life treated people based on luck, wealth, and circumstance. Here were two children surviving on nothing, facing danger every day while he had spent his life in comfort. And yet the courage of Lily, the love for her brother, was something he had never seen in the richest boardroom or the grandest mansion. It was raw, unpolished, and more valuable than any wealth he had ever held. As they drove, Max slowly relaxed in Lily's arms, his breathing becoming steadier. Lily felt a weight lift from her shoulders, not because the danger had passed entirely, but because someone had chosen to care for them without demanding anything in return. The man noticed the shift, the small change in her posture, the way she held her brother with slightly less tension. He realized that patience and kindness were more powerful than force. When they reached the mansion, Lily hesitated again at the threshold. The building was enormous, almost overwhelming. She glanced at Max, who looked up at her with trust and curiosity. Taking a deep breath, she stepped inside. The warmth of the house enveloped them instantly, and the man guided them to a cozy living area. He offered blankets, hot drinks, and soft seats. For a moment, Lily felt like she was in a dream. Comfort, warmth, and safety, things she had not known for a long time, surrounded her. She looked at the man, a mix of curiosity and caution in her eyes. He smiled gently and said, "You two are safe here. No one will hurt you. You can rest." She nodded slightly, still unsure, but a tiny seed of trust had been planted. As Max drifted off to sleep in her lap, she whispered softly to him, "We're going to be okay, Max. We really are." The man watched quietly, feeling a warmth in his chest he had not known before. He realized that sometimes helping someone was not just about giving money or food, but about giving care, attention, and belief in their strength. And so, that cold morning in the city began to change the lives of three people: a girl's courage, a brother's trust, and a millionaire's willingness to notice. These small moments intertwined to create a new beginning, one that none of them had expected, but all of them needed. The journey was just beginning, and already, hope had started to bloom in the most unlikely place. After the cold morning walk and the drive to the mansion, Lily and Max were finally inside a warm, safe place. The mansion was enormous, filled with expensive furniture, shiny floors, and beautiful paintings. The warmth from the fireplace and the soft light made the place feel alive, unlike anything they had experienced on the streets. Lily held Max close as he curled up in her lap, finally feeling comfortable enough to rest. She could see how pale and weak he had become from months of hunger and cold, and she felt a wave of responsibility to keep him safe now more than ever. The man who had brought them there, Mr. Langston, watched quietly from the corner. He had prepared for their arrival as best he could, but nothing in his experience had truly prepared him for seeing two children in this state. Their fear, exhaustion, and determination were clear in every movement. He brought over a soft blanket and gently wrapped it around Max and Lily, making sure they were completely warm. He then offered them some food, carefully chosen to be gentle on Max's weak stomach. At first, Lily was cautious. She had learned to survive by relying on no one but herself. Trusting adults had always ended badly, and she feared losing Max again. She took the food slowly, watching Mr. Langston carefully, noticing his calm and patient demeanor. There was nothing in his body language that suggested danger. She let herself eat, slowly at first, then a little faster as the warmth and taste of the food reminded her what she had been missing for so long. Max took a few bites too, and the relief that came over Lily was almost overwhelming. He was safe for now, and that was all that mattered. Mr. Langston spoke gently, introducing himself and telling them that they could stay as long as they needed. Lily listened, her mind racing with questions and doubts. Why was he helping them? What did he want in return? But his tone was sincere and kind, and slowly the wall she had built around herself began to crumble. She realized that he wasn't trying to take Max away or control their lives. He simply wanted to help. It was a strange feeling for her, one she hadn't felt in a long time. She nodded slowly, showing a small sign of trust, and Mr. Langston smiled. The mansion was overwhelming, full of things Lily had never seen before. She walked carefully through the hallways, keeping Max close. Every corner seemed huge and full of possibilities. She noticed the soft carpets, the large windows, and the beautiful rooms filled with light. For the first time, she allowed herself to imagine what life could be like without fear, hunger, and cold. She saw Max looking around with wide eyes, and she felt a warmth in her chest knowing he could finally experience this too. They had spent months surviving day by day, and now they could dream about a future. Mr. Langston showed them to a small, cozy room that he had prepared for them. The room had soft blankets, warm lighting, and even small toys that were left out for Max. Lily was hesitant to touch anything, fearing that she might be judged or told off, but Mr. Langston simply smiled and told her everything in the room was theirs. Slowly, she unpacked a small backpack she had carried for months, and they made the room their own, marking the first small step of stability and comfort in their lives. Max hugged a soft teddy bear he found, and Lily smiled at the sight, feeling a small sense of joy she hadn't felt in a long time. Over the next few hours, Mr. Langston helped them settle in. He brought warm clothes for Lily and Max and a doctor to check Max's health. The doctor was gentle and kind, asking Lily questions softly and explaining everything clearly. Max was nervous at first, but Lily's calm presence helped him relax. The doctor reassured them that Max was going to be okay, that he just needed proper food, rest, and care. Lily felt a wave of relief wash over her. She had been so used to fear and uncertainty that hearing someone say Max would be okay made her almost cry. As the day went on, Lily and Max began to feel more at ease. They explored the mansion cautiously, learning which rooms were safe, which doors they could open, and where they could rest. Mr. Langston followed them at a distance, letting them explore while making sure they didn't get lost or overwhelmed. He noticed the small ways Lily tried to protect Max, guiding him through the large spaces and making sure he didn't trip or fall. Her love and care were evident in everything she did, and he felt a deep admiration for her courage and strength. In the evening, Mr. Langston prepared a meal for all of them. He made simple but nourishing food that Max could eat easily, and that would help him regain his strength. Lily was hesitant at first, unsure if this was real or just another trick. But as they ate, the warmth of the food and the safety of the surroundings slowly began to sink in. They began to feel like they belonged somewhere, even if it was only temporary. Max smiled at the taste of the food, and Lily felt a flicker of hope ignite in her heart. After dinner, Mr. Langston sat with Lily and Max and told them more about himself. He didn't overwhelm them with stories of wealth or success, but shared small details about his life in a way that felt approachable. He spoke about his work, the city, and simple things like his love for walking in the park in the mornings. Lily listened cautiously, realizing that he wasn't trying to impress them or use them in any way. He just wanted them to feel safe and to understand that he was there for them. As night fell, Lily tucked Max into the soft bed in their room. She held him close, feeling the warmth of the blankets and the soft sheets against their skin. For the first time in months, they could sleep without fear of being woken up by cold or hunger. She whispered to him, reassuring him that they were safe, that they could finally rest. Max snuggled against her, trusting her completely, and Lily felt a small, tender happiness bloom inside her. She realized that the mansion was not just a place of luxury, it was a place of healing, a place where they could start over and rebuild their lives. Mr. Langston checked on them before leaving the room, making sure they were comfortable and had everything they needed. He promised to return in the morning and to continue helping them in any way they needed. Lily nodded, a small smile on her face, signaling that she trusted him a little more now. She knew the journey ahead would be challenging, but for the first time she felt that it might be possible. The fear and uncertainty that had dominated her life were still there, but hope had begun to grow alongside it. As they drifted off to sleep, Lily thought about the streets, about the nights she had spent keeping Max warm with nothing but a thin blanket, about the hunger and fear they had endured together. She realized that their lives could change, that there might be a future where they were not just surviving but living. And for the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to dream of a life filled with warmth, safety, and love. The night passed quietly, with the soft glow of the fireplace casting gentle shadows across the room. Lily held Max close, feeling his steady breathing and the small rise and fall of his chest. She promised herself silently that she would protect him, that she would cherish this new beginning, and that she would learn to trust again. Outside the mansion, the city continued to bustle, unaware of the small miracle unfolding within the walls. But inside, in the warmth and safety of a mansion she had never imagined, Lily and Max began the slow journey toward healing and hope, guided by a stranger who had chosen to see them, care for them, and give them a chance at a new life. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the tall windows of the mansion, casting a warm glow over the rooms. Lily awoke first, carefully checking on Max, who was still sleeping soundly. His breathing was steady, his cheeks had a hint of color, and he seemed more at ease than he had in months. Lily smiled quietly to herself, a sense of relief and hope filling her chest. She remembered the cold streets, the nights spent shivering, and the hunger they had endured. But now everything felt different. She allowed herself a small moment of happiness, knowing that at least for today they were safe. Mr. Langston had prepared breakfast, keeping it simple but nourishing. The smell of warm bread, fruit, and eggs filled the room. He entered the room gently, making sure not to startle them, and greeted them with a kind smile. Lily nodded politely, her nerves still present, but she did not feel the need to retreat. Max slowly woke, rubbing his eyes, and looked around at the bright room. He seemed amazed, as if he could not believe that such a place existed. Mr. Langston encouraged them to eat, and Lily helped Max with his breakfast, feeding him slowly, careful not to overwhelm him. As they ate, Mr. Langston spoke softly, asking about their journey, their life on the streets, and how they managed to survive. Lily hesitated at first, unsure of how much to share. She had spent so long keeping their life a secret that it felt strange to talk about it openly. But there was a gentleness in Mr. Langston's tone, a sense that he genuinely wanted to understand, not judge or question them. Slowly she began to tell him small pieces of their story. She spoke about the streets, the cold nights, and the hunger. She spoke about the friends they had lost, the dangers they had faced, and the times she had feared for Max's life. Each word she shared was heavy with emotion, yet Mr. Langston listened patiently, nodding and offering gentle reassurances. After breakfast, he took them on a small tour of the mansion, showing them the rooms they could use, the gardens outside, and even a small library filled with books. Lily was cautious, careful not to touch anything she might not understand, but Max's excitement was contagious. He ran ahead, peeking into rooms, touching the soft carpets, and discovering toys and games he had never seen before. Lily followed more slowly, her eyes wide with curiosity and caution. She had never experienced comfort like this, and the new environment felt almost magical. Mr. Langston observed quietly, making sure they felt free to explore while still keeping them safe. In the library, Lily paused to look at the books. She had never learned to read well, but she was curious. Mr. Langston noticed her interest and offered to help her learn. He spoke about the joy of stories, the way they could open new worlds, and the adventures they could experience through books. Lily listened carefully, her eyes brightening. She realized that this was more than just a mansion. It was a place where she and Max could learn, grow, and discover new possibilities. The idea of education, of learning beyond mere survival, was almost overwhelming but exciting. Over the next few days, Mr. Langston began helping Lily and Max adjust to their new life. He introduced them to a doctor who monitored Max's health and provided treatment for his malnutrition and minor illnesses. The doctor was patient and kind, explaining everything in a way that made Lily feel comfortable and informed. Max began to grow stronger, and Lily felt a sense of relief she had never experienced before. She realized that trusting adults could be a positive thing, even though it had been dangerous in the past. Lily also began to help with small chores in the mansion. She learned to make beds, clean, and organize their room. These tasks gave her a sense of control and responsibility, something she had not felt in a long time. Mr. Langston encouraged her, praising her efforts and showing appreciation for her hard work. Slowly, Lily began to see herself not just as a survivor, but as someone capable of learning, contributing, and thriving. One afternoon, Mr. Langston invited them to spend time in the garden. The garden was large, filled with flowers, fruit trees, and small paths that wound around a fountain. Max ran ahead, laughing and exploring, while Lily followed more cautiously, taking in the beauty around her. She had never seen such colors or felt the soft grass under her feet. Mr. Langston stayed close, encouraging them to enjoy themselves and assuring them that the space was safe. They played quietly, exploring corners of the garden and discovering small surprises like birds, flowers, and hidden benches. The sunlight warmed their faces, and Lily felt a rare sense of freedom. It was a feeling she had forgotten existed, the simple joy of a carefree moment. Evenings were spent around the fireplace, with Mr. Langston reading stories or telling them about simple, everyday things. He spoke of kindness, courage, and hope, weaving small lessons into his stories. Lily and Max listened intently, captivated by the warmth of his voice and the calm of the room. These moments, small and quiet, began to build trust. Lily started to realize that Mr. Langston's interest in them was not fleeting. He cared, and he would not abandon them as so many others had in the past. Lily's cautious nature began to soften. She allowed herself to ask questions, to explore the mansion more freely, and even to smile and laugh with Max. She noticed that he was happier than she had ever seen him, and that gave her courage to open up just a little more. She spoke about their life on the streets, about small joys they had found in each other's company, and about the fears they had faced together. Mr. Langston listened carefully, validating their experiences and showing empathy. Lily felt seen and heard in a way that was new and comforting. During this time, Mr. Langston also began teaching Lily small lessons in problem-solving and decision-making. He asked her to help plan daily routines, make choices about meals, and organize their room. He did this gently, never forcing her, but encouraging her to see her own strengths. Lily found herself gaining confidence, realizing that she could make decisions and handle responsibility. This small empowerment was life-changing, giving her a sense of control that she had never had before. Max also began to thrive under this new care. He played, laughed, and even started asking questions about the world. Lily felt proud of him, seeing the strength in his small body and the light in his eyes. She realized that their journey had changed, that survival was no longer the only goal. They could begin to live, to dream, and to hope for a future that had seemed impossible just days ago. At night, as they lay in their soft beds, Lily reflected on the changes in their lives. The fear and uncertainty of the street still lingered in the back of her mind, but the warmth, care, and kindness she had experienced filled her heart with hope. She whispered to Max, reassuring him that they were safe and that tomorrow would bring more new experiences. Max listened, trusting her completely, and drifted off to sleep with a small smile. Mr. Langston watched from a distance, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction and purpose. He realized that helping Lily and Max was not just about providing shelter and food. It was about nurturing their spirits, building their confidence, and giving them the opportunity to believe in a better life. He had seen courage, love, and resilience in Lily, qualities that many adults could not match. He felt honored to be part of their journey, knowing that he could help them grow into strong, capable individuals. The days that followed continued with small lessons, explorations, and moments of joy. Lily and Max became more comfortable in the mansion, learning to trust the kindness around them and discovering their own strengths. They laughed, played, and even began to dream. The bond between them, already strong, deepened as they navigated this new chapter together. Mr. Langston remained a steady presence, guiding them with patience, empathy, and unwavering care. Through these moments, Lily began to understand that life could be different, that fear and survival did not have to dominate every day. She saw that there was room for hope, joy, and learning, and most importantly, She realized that trust could be a source of strength, not just vulnerability. She held Max close, feeling the warmth of their shared resilience, and knew that together they could face anything. The journey was far from over, but for the first time Lily felt that they were not just surviving, they were beginning to live. As the days turned into weeks, Lily and Max grew more comfortable in their new life. The mansion, once overwhelming, had become a place of safety and familiarity. The rooms, filled with light and warmth, no longer seemed so large and intimidating. Instead, they felt like a home, a place where they could finally rest and breathe without fear. Lily watched Max play with small toys and explore the gardens, and she felt a deep sense of relief and gratitude. She had spent so long protecting him, worrying about every step, every sound, every stranger. Now, for the first time, she could allow herself to relax just a little. Mr. Langston continued to support them gently, without forcing them to adapt too quickly. He understood that trust was built slowly, that healing took time, and that their experiences on the streets had shaped every part of them. He arranged for tutors to help Lily learn reading and writing. At first she was hesitant, unsure if she could manage it. But the tutors were kind and patient, explaining things slowly and celebrating each small success. Lily began to enjoy learning. Words that had once seemed like strangers became familiar friends. She read to Max in the evenings, sharing stories of adventure and kindness, and she noticed the spark of curiosity in his eyes. Max was thriving as well. His health had improved, his laughter became more frequent, and he felt free to explore without the constant fear of danger. Lily felt proud and happy for him, knowing that her efforts to protect him on the streets had kept him alive. She began to allow herself small joys, enjoying the moments of play and learning without guilt. It was a new experience for her, and she treasured it. One afternoon, Mr. Langston suggested they take a trip outside the mansion. He wanted them to experience the world beyond the walls and gardens, to see that life could be beautiful in many ways. Lily was hesitant, worried about Max and the unknown beyond their safe space. But with Mr. Langston's calm guidance, she agreed. They walked slowly through the quiet streets, taking in the sights and sounds. Max held her hand tightly, and she held him just as tightly, feeling the warmth of his small fingers in hers. As they explored, they encountered simple joys. A street musician playing a soft tune, children flying kites in a park, the smell of fresh bread from a bakery. Lily noticed things she had never paid attention to before. The colors of the leaves, the way sunlight reflected off windows, the laughter of people not in a rush. She began to understand that life could hold beauty and happiness, even outside the safety of the mansion. Mr. Langston watched her carefully, seeing the change in her eyes, the softening of her cautious demeanor. She was beginning to believe that the world could be kind, that not every stranger would harm them. Back at the mansion, Lily began to take more initiative. She helped with meal preparation, learned to organize their room, and even started helping Max with small tasks. Mr. Langston encouraged her, praising her efforts and showing appreciation for her growing confidence. Slowly, she realized that she was not just surviving anymore. She was learning to live. She was discovering her strengths, her ability to care for Max, and the possibility of a brighter future. Evenings were filled with stories and quiet conversations. Mr. Langston spoke of courage, kindness, and hope, sharing lessons not through lectures, but through gentle storytelling. Lily listened attentively, absorbing each lesson. She began to share her own thoughts and experiences, telling stories of the streets, of the nights they had spent keeping each other warm, of the moments of fear and small victories. Mr. Langston listened with patience and empathy, validating her feelings and experiences. Lily felt truly seen and heard, a sensation she had long forgotten. One day, Lily and Max discovered a small pond in the mansion gardens. They spent hours exploring its edges, watching the water ripple, observing small fish swimming beneath the surface. Max was delighted by the colors and movement, and Lily joined him in his excitement, laughing and playing without fear. Mr. Langston joined them, teaching them about the plants and animals they saw. The simple joys of nature became a new source of wonder and happiness for both children. Lily realized that life had more to offer than survival. It had moments of peace, curiosity, and delight. Lily also began to notice changes in herself. She was no longer constantly tense, no longer bracing for danger at every sound. Her thoughts shifted from fear and survival to hope and planning. She began to dream of the future, A future where Max could go to school, where they could have friends, where they could live without fear. The idea was both exciting and daunting, but she felt ready to face it. Mr. Langston's steady presence, his patient guidance, and his unwavering care gave her the courage to imagine a life beyond the streets. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, Lily turned to Mr. Langston and asked questions about his life. She wanted to understand how someone could be so kind, so patient, and so caring. Mr. Langston spoke softly, sharing that his life had been filled with lessons about kindness and responsibility. He explained that helping others was not just about money or power, but about noticing those in need, listening to them, and providing support. Lily listened closely, feeling a deep respect for him, not as a wealthy man, but as someone who had chosen to care. As the days continued, Lily began to open up more. She spoke about her fears, her hopes, and her dreams. She shared her memories of the streets, the people they had met, and the lessons she had learned about resilience and love. Mr. Langston listened without judgment, offering encouragement and support. He helped her understand that her past did not define her, but that it had shaped her strength, courage, and compassion. Lily realized that her experiences, though difficult, had given her the ability to face challenges and care deeply for those she loved. Max continued to grow and thrive under this care. His laughter became more frequent, his curiosity more apparent, and his health steadily improved. Lily watched him with pride, knowing that her love and dedication had kept him alive and happy. She felt a sense of purpose, realizing that caring for Max was not just a responsibility, but a source of strength and joy. The bond between them grew stronger, rooted in shared experiences, trust, and love. Mr. Langston encouraged both Lily and Max to pursue their interests. He provided books, games, and tools to help them explore their passions. Lily began to develop a love for reading and writing, while Max discovered a fascination with nature and animals. They spent hours together exploring the mansion, learning new skills, and discovering the world around them. Each day brought new opportunities for growth, learning, and joy. Lily also learned to trust Mr. Langston more deeply. She realized that he was not just a caretaker, but a mentor and a guide. His patience, understanding, and encouragement helped her see that asking for help was not a weakness but a strength. She began to believe in herself, to recognize her own capabilities, and to understand that she could face challenges with confidence and courage. Evenings became a time of reflection and connection. Lily and Max would sit by the fireplace, sharing their thoughts, experiences, and dreams. Mr. Langston would listen, offering guidance and encouragement, helping them process their emotions and experiences. These moments strengthened their bond, creating a foundation of trust, love, and mutual respect. Lily felt a deep sense of gratitude for the care and attention they were receiving, and she began to allow herself to feel happiness and hope. As part 4 of their journey unfolded, Lily and Max continued to heal and grow. The mansion, once unfamiliar and intimidating, had become a place of learning, discovery, and comfort. They were no longer just surviving. They were living, exploring, and dreaming. The lessons of kindness, patience, and trust that Mr. Langston provided helped them navigate their new life, building confidence and resilience. Lily realized that the future, once filled with fear and uncertainty, now held possibilities, hope, and the promise of a better life for both her and Max. In these days, Lily understood that the true strength of life was not in wealth or power, but in love, trust, and care. She had found a safe space to grow, a mentor to guide them, and a bond with her brother that was unbreakable. The journey was far from over, but for the first time Lily felt that they were not just surviving, they were thriving, and that hope and happiness were within reach.